Welcome to Drop Everything Podcast number 22. I'm your host, Dan Holzman. Very excited about this podcast. I was out in the world. I brought my Zune recorder while I was performing at Hermosa Beach's Comedy and Magic Club. And John Wee, he lives in the neighborhood, and he's able to arrange for Owen Morris to meet us. So I was able to sit down live and chat with The Passing Zone. So I'm sure you'll enjoy this episode. But before we get to our chat, let's thank our main sponsor, who is and always will be the IJA, the International Jugglers Association. I first started going to festivals in 1980. That was Fargo, North Dakota. Chilly, Fargo, North Dakota. In fact, I'm life member number 83, so I've been involved with this great organization for over 35 years or so. It's always been wonderful, and I always enjoy my time at the IJA festivals. Go to juggling.org. Find out about that great organization full of great jugglers. I also want to promote my own personal website. I don't do this every time, but I am actually doing more coaching now and looking for more students who want to learn my comedy techniques for juggling and performing. That's braindrizzles.com. If you're interested in private coaching, career advice, mentorship, act direction, all that kind of stuff, go to braindrizzles.com and we can talk with a free consultation about what I can do for your act and career. Now, let's also thank our lovely engineer, as always, Karen Holzman. Now, no more delay, let's get on to the chat number 22 with John Wee and Owen Morris, the fantastic, the amazing Passing Zone. Very exciting for podcast number 22. And I'm here in Hermosa Beach, sitting with one of the most successful, I'm going to go out on a limb here, the most successful juggling act ever, John Wee and Owen Morris, the Passing Zone. So thanks, guys, for being on the podcast with me and meeting me here in John's house in Hermosa Beach.
Thanks for having us, Dan.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Now, I think a lot of people may have thought of us as rivals or something over the years. Or do you ever feel like you had a rivalry with the Raspini brothers?
A little bit. I think, it's one of those things where you guys had a lot of success sort of before we had teamed up, and then we had a lot of success right after we started, and we always looked to you guys as somebody that we wanted to try to keep up with or try to do as well as, and I think in some ways it's helpful to have somebody out there that you want to
for us as well. We often thought like, we're going to stick it to the Passing Zone on this one. But it never was a thing where we didn't like you guys, you didn't like us.
There's never any animosity.
No.
Yeah,
it's
perhaps
been good
some jealousy. We'd see you on The Tonight Show and just go, there you go.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah, we want to do that.
Because you really went in your own direction and created such great original material that I never thought, well, there are rivals. And I'm sure you had the same experience. We very rarely or never lost a job like we were going to hire you, but we hired the Passing Zone instead.
Right.
They'd hire someone else.
Sure.
Right.
But we never directly lost work, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And luckily we could both coexist at the same time and still keep working and doing it. So
and we
stay
were
friends.
We were happy that you guys were out there doing such a good job because you're giving juggling and team comedy juggling a good name. So
and vice versa.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. If you guys are going over well, then people go, oh, well, then these guys will probably go over well too.
Yeah. I saw an act last year, and they were so bad, that I really felt like, but the problem was people were watching it and accepting it as what juggling was.
Of course they were.
They were like, they were fine with it.
It fit their preconceived notion of what a juggler is.
But nobody watched that show and said, oh my God, juggling is great. I have to see more juggling.
Yeah.
It's like, no, juggling is pretty lame.
Yeah.
But it's fine being lame.
Sure.
But there must be a lot of that out there because that's what a lot of people think about juggling. They don't think of what you do or what we do. They think of something else.
But we've talked, since you guys and us, and there were acts like Clockwork and Team Rootberry and the Gizmo guys. But as far as getting actual exposure and really exposing a lot of people to juggling, it was basically Raspini Brothers and Passing Zone. What happened? Why haven't there been other acts coming up?
Yeah, there should be other duos. It would be nice if there were if the Tonight Show was still having juggling acts on, so people could get some exposure. But there's so few opportunities for that.
Yeah, there's nothing on TV now where for years, the whole Jay Leno years.
Well, you had to get on as like meal or no meal.
Right.
I got on there doing that, which was surprising because that was my 4th Tonight Show appearance. I thought, I don't need this credit. How come no one else is going for this? I guess they felt it was kind of diminished because you didn't say you were a professional juggler. You had to say you were something else.
Well, I guess there's that, but I think it was Jay's decision that he just doesn't like jugglers.
Yeah.
And so he never had jugglers on.
I don't know if it's jugglers. I don't think he liked the idea of variety because it made it kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But it's hurtful when we're all kind of put in that same category.
Oh, yeah.
One time we did an audition for Mitzi Shore at the Comedy Store.
Uh-huh.
This is exactly what she said to us. She said, so we did our act.
Yeah.
Killed it. It's a great, the big room in the Comedy Store. She goes, "You're funny. Too bad we don't use acts like yours." And I'm like, isn't funny?
Isn't that enough?
Don't you use funny acts? Well, and we have that same thing. We've approached different television shows, and sometimes the response has been, well, you've seen our show. We don't have jugglers on. And I just think, well, that's a ridiculous answer. You have entertaining, funny things on. You have interesting people on. Then why wouldn't you have us on if you want to have 5 minutes of entertainment on your show?
One time we did a show, or another juggling act did a show. It was the Pat Sajak show, who had his own talk show for like 2 minutes.
Sure.
And they did so poorly, I won't mention their name, but they were I won't say their name, but they were another brothers act. They said, Pat Sajak hated this act. He wants no more jugglers.
Wow.
As if they had a singer on and the singer was bad, like, Pat Sajak hates singers.
Yeah.
That's it.
No more singers.
One bad interview with an actor. No more actors.
No more actors.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't want.
Yeah.
But you guys had really good luck on America's Got Talent, and that's a show that still exists.
Yeah.
What are your feelings today about that show and your experience, and would you suggest other people go on it?
Well, it was the first season, so we had no idea what we were getting into. They just sort of presented it to us as this is
It's American Idol for variety acts.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's
let's
us.
do that.
So that going into it unknown like that was a little frightening.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they had judges. What did you actually know about the show? Did you know they were going to be judged, or they could X you, or something like
by
that?
the time we were actually recording it, we knew they had told us what it was about, but we were also on the first act the first day.
Right.
And so we hadn't even seen one other act go on stage. We hadn't seen anything. And so we
And they had you sitting in the audience, right?
Yeah,
And then they called you up. I remember that.
Right, out of the audience.
And what you probably don't know is ahead of time, Hasselhoff, the judges come out to the audience and say hi and introduce themselves. Hasselhoff is talking to the audience right before we go on, and he says, now make sure you respond a lot. If you see something you love, just cheer like crazy, unless, of course, it's a juggling act, and then you can boo.
Right.
And,
Specifically
Did your heart do a flip-flop?
Oh, my God. It's like, we're next. We're up next.
Oh,
and
that
he
sucks.
just told the audience to boo juggling acts.
Right.
And we're like,
Unbelievable.
And why do you think that Hasselhoff had this?
Because that's what everybody has, don't they?
That's what we were talking at the
I know,
beginning.
right.
Why do people?
Yeah.
I think because if you think about juggling, the song comes to people's mind right away.
Yeah.
Saber dance. Or, yeah.
And it's a guy juggling basically the cascade.
Yeah.
They're not thinking Anthony Gatto.
Yeah.
Right.
That Victor Key's awfully good.
Right.
Yeah, they're thinking of someone in clown shoes on the street corner, or I don't know what it is.
But you guys did great. I think you probably did the best out of any juggling act on the show.
It went very well for us.
Right.
We had a really good experience with them, and the exposure was really, really great. So, I mean, really, like, back to your question about would we recommend it to others, we definitely do. What I always tell people is you should do it as long as you're okay with the fact that it might go badly, you might get insulted,
Sure.
and you might walk off the stage feeling kind of humiliated.
Right.
If you're okay with that, then do it, because there's a very high likelihood that that's the outcome. But if you don't try it, you'll never know. If you get on over and over and over again, you get lots of great exposure, you get tons of great video, and it can really, really help your career.
Right.
And if you don't try it, you'll never know.
That's what I say. I say, like, any spot can go bad.
Sure.
When you were on The Tonight Show, it wasn't like they said, oh, if anything goes wrong, don't worry, we'll edit it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they didn't judge you necessarily, but you still were at the risk of saying, if you do a good job, how can they really insult you too much? Which they have. There's been people who've gone on and done well.
Yeah.
Right.
And people are like, that was terrible.
Or you get an act that we all know is great. I mean, real pros have gone on there, and in the first 10 seconds, they get X'd. They get told, hey, you'll never make it in show business. And they're talking to someone who's been in show business 20 years.
Like they had Vladik on, like, you'll never work Vegas. He's like, I'm working Vegas now.
Exactly. I'm heading back to my show.
Yes.
I remember when Eric Buss got on doing the Spring Snake Symphony.
Right.
And I always felt like if any act was perfect for America's Got Talent,
There it is.
it was Eric Buss's Spring Snake Symphony because it's quick,
Right.
it's big,
It's outrageous. It's
and
ridiculous.
they hated it.
Yeah, they did.
You just never know.
So when I saw that, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing though is I think he's got that video on his.
It's
promo
great, it looks
reel.
great.
It
Yeah.
looks amazing.
Yeah.
So you just go, well, look at that. He's doing well on America's Got Talent. So
Exactly.
You
there
edit
go.
out the X's
Right.
and you edit out the insults at the end.
And more people will see you on
it
that
looks
show
great.
than the Tonight Show currently.
And people are, I'm saying, what's your option? Are a lot of other shows
Yeah.
calling you? You're
Right.
saying, well, I'm not going to do America's Got Talent because Jimmy Kimmel wants
Right.
me and
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon
Well,
wants
then
me.
go do those. If those-
Exactly,
you know,
go do
yeah.
those.
Yeah.
So if you're out there listening and you're afraid to be on America's Got Talent because you're afraid of doing badly.
Yeah,
if you're afraid
right.
of doing badly, maybe show business isn't for you.
There you
But
go.
yeah, do it, but make sure you have a thick skin because and
Because things can go bad, things could go wrong.
Yeah.
And even if you do perfectly and they say we hate you, you have to be able to hold your head up and go, all right, it's a crazy gong show situation and anything can happen, and this doesn't mean I'm a crappy performer. I can continue my career and you know, be happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really doesn't mean anything, but it might go great. So
I always say, take care of the day to day, do your gigs, but you got to swing for the fences.
yeah,
And that's a real swing for the fences
It sure is.
kind of move.
Yeah.
Because it really can be a game changer. Now, when you guys were on the Tonight Show, was that a real game changer for you guys? What kind of response did you get from that?
yeah.
And what led what well let's go back a bit. Let's go back even before the passing zone. Let's
All
go
right. Way back,
way back.
Yeah.
before fire and the wheel.
Well, before you exactly. Before that lightning hit that first tree and
Right.
burst into flames.
Right.
So let's go a little background on you guys. Let's start with John. Like, where were you born and what was your life like? I know you went to college, had a pretty normal upbringing in Minnesota, was it?
Yeah, Minnesota, town called Northfield, a little south of Minneapolis, and pretty normal childhood. My father was a professor, and my parents both worked at college. 2 sisters, and they're all in the English teaching profession still.
You're a middle child.
I'm the middle child, yeah.
And when did juggling rear its ugly head in your life? I mean, as a hobby? How'd that first experience go there?
It came up, I was 13, 1979, way back in the 70s.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't think so, no.
My math's a little off.
Yeah,
All right,
could
okay.
be.
But I was in a situation where there was a class being taught, a juggling class, where a group of people were learning how to juggle.
Like a PE type of thing? Or?
Yeah, it was actually a mime who was at a retreat thing that I was at, and she was teaching people to juggle. And I thought, hey, that looks fun.
Okay.
And so just among the 12 or 15 people who were learning to juggle, I jumped in and learned how to do the cascade, and was just immediately kind of hooked. It was one of those things where I'm like, oh, now I can get 10 throws. Now can I get 100 throws? And can I throw one under my leg now? And I mean, just immediately, I spent all my spare time just carrying 3 beanbags around everywhere I went and just juggling whenever I could.
But when you were a kid, this idea of being a professional juggler, was that even something that you thought was possible, or where'd you see your life going?
Not really. I mean, at that point, well, it happened pretty quickly. That right after I learned to juggle, I saw the Flying Karamazov brothers coming through Minneapolis and read about them in the paper, went to their show, and just right there went, okay, that's it. That's
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to convert a bus. I'm going to get
Right.
I'm going to get some friends. We're going to travel around the country and perform juggling. And so from about age 14, it's all I wanted to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But then you went to college, you got a degree in
Economics.
economics.
Yeah.
Does that come in handy?
No.
Not so much.
But I kind of envy people who
Because
went to
you're a juggler.
college.
Yeah.
But I envy people who went to college.
I find great value in education. I'm glad and proud to be an educated person, and I think going to college was very helpful in sort of intangible. See, I went to college, so I know
Right.
it's intangible.
Yeah.
It's unintelligible. but It's intelligible.
Yeah.
So in many ways it's helpful, but not in ways that you can really see or apply immediately. But I think it always helps to be well-rounded and well-educated no matter what you do. Directly, I don't know that it has mattered a whole lot. I probably could have been a successful juggler without college.
Yeah, but I envy people who've gone to college. I feel that that's a lack in my life. I went pretty much directly. I did a couple years of junior college, but I feel a lack there.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot to learn, and it's good to be well.
And juggling isn't forever. At a certain point, I think your juggling life ends.
Well, and especially then, I assumed it wasn't forever, and now it's just about been forever. But that wasn't really the original plan. The original plan was to juggle for a while, and then probably get a real job.
And did you start working as a solo pretty quickly? Would you start doing jobs?
I'd almost always worked as a team. As soon as I learned to juggle, I taught a couple of my friends how to do it, and so we started a 3-person act called the Three of Clubs.
I remember you guys from the Minnesota Renaissance Festival.
Yeah, you guys showed up.
Kai Fieldstad.
Yeah, Kai Fieldstad.
And who was the third?
And Joel Erickson, whose last name is now Hurlbut, Joel Hurlbut.
That's a very interesting name change.
It's his mom's maiden name.
All right.
So, so the three of us, started working at the Renaissance Festival in Minnesota when we were 15 and just passing the hat. I think the first year we worked there, we had no contract and we just passed the hat.
Right. Sounds like our first contract or non-contract in Chicago in Kenosha. Like you could show up. We got a place for you. That's it.
You can camp in the back.
You can camp in the back.
Yeah.
So what about you, Owen? So where'd you grow up and what was sort of your early experience? You were more of an athlete, correct? You were like a decathlete.
That in the college years. But similar timing. I learned how to juggle when I was 13. A friend of my basketball team taught me how, and just gravitated towards it.
And were you always involved with athletics? I mean, growing up?
Very.
That's my sense of you. Is that my picture of Owen Morris is that famous 5-ball joggling picture.
That's what I still look like that.
You do. You really do.
Yeah. If he takes his clothes off and oils up, that's exactly what he looks like.
He's wearing only a thong now. But I can imagine the rest.
He'll show you when the interview's done.
Sometimes I just pulled that picture out and just show this is what I used to look like.
No, you guys have maintained your youthful vitality quite well.
Well, that's kind.
So you learned it, what you're saying, 15?
13, yep. Yeah. And a guy taught me how, and I started just doing, not really shows, but entertaining at kids' birthday parties.
So pretty immediately you kind of thought of it as something that was just more than, I'm going to learn to juggle, because most people, that's it. They learn to juggle and say, okay, now I can juggle. Why do anything else with it? But you decide, I'm going to start performing.
Well, you just get asked. Somebody says, "Oh, you know how to juggle," or they knew, and can you come do my friend's birthday party or my son's birthday party? And you think, well, sure, I can do that. But it never was this driving force that this is what I needed to do. It was just, I was good at juggling and people enjoyed it, and so.
Where'd you see your life going at that point? What'd you want to do as a kid? Did you?
My whole family's into computers, and my dad worked at Hughes Aircraft, and so I thought that was probably the direction I was going, and I was very quiet and shy.
Yeah, you were pretty. I mean, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, over 30 years, by the way.
Yes. Back from the LA Valley College days.
Like 82, 83.
I don't know if gregarious would have been a word that would have matched. I'll explain to John what that means.
Yeah.
Gregarious is like talkative.
Oh, right. I see.
Yeah. And you went to college as well.
UC Irvine.
And what was your field of study?
I started off as a physics major, but then changed to psychology and graduated a degree with psychology.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. So
I always think of you as one of the most well-adjusted jugglers. Wow. Your parents must have done something right. Because
I've got loving parents that support me no matter what. And I think both of us do.
And both of you now have wonderful families of your own. You're both parents of
I'm well adjusted too. I just don't seem like it.
Well, I mean, the thing about Owen,
it's less obvious.
The thing about Owen is like you're a very superior person. I think. No, really. I mean, I think Owen is even more superior. I've often thought that Owen was. I know. I've often thought that Owen Morris was the nicest, most well-adjusted guy I know.
Wow.
See,
I never knew
You didn't know that?
No.
That's
in comparison, I'm always the mean one.
Like to be like you're what, 6'1" or something?
Yeah.
But you're the short one.
People meet me and they go,
you're like 6'4" or
6'3",
something.
yeah.
6'3".
Yeah, when I'm not standing next to Owen,
right.
You're like, wait, you're not short. I'm like, no, I'm not short, but next to Owen I am.
So has that been difficult having Owen as your?
It's been hell.
Has it been hell?
Yeah.
See, I'm learning so much.
Is there a dark side to Owen Morris? Is there because I don't see any dark side.
That's different.
What's the downside?
That's
give me one
podcast.
Give me one complaint about Owen Morris. I can give you a complaint about Barry, but I won't.
You start.
All right, forget this line of questioning.
Yeah. Owen's main downside is he's too punctual. Yeah.
So you're saying he's too punctual?
Too punctual. Yeah. It makes my lateness look bad.
Exactly.
And I'm not very late, just a little late.
Like here, like the thing was for 11. I think he was 11:02, maybe. That was a little bit late.
No, I was 10:57.
Were you 10? You actually checked.
I did check.
Oh, that's funny.
And it's important to me.
Me too. I'm very much about the professionalism of show business.
When I was here at 11:05, and I live here.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
See,
that was
that's
weird.
the thing.
I'm knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Really weird.
No, I'm a big believer in the other parts of show business. Like you show up on time, you're prepared,
right,
and you do the time you're asked to do. Being on time to me is a really important aspect of show business.
And being easy and kind to work with backstage. You know, I mean, these are people who hire you, and they're gonna hire people who they like to be around, or if they don't like being around you, others are going to hear about it later.
Well, and you've sort of said it in the term show business.
Right.
It's both. It's equally. It's a show and it's a business, and we treat that part of it very seriously.
But also, we have to understand our role. Like when you're doing an opening act,
right,
or a corporate event, there's not a lot of fame going in. Like if you're like a big star, maybe you can act like a jerk. Mm-hmm. But when you're a professional juggler, I always say you're kind of like at the little kids' table of show business.
Sure.
Especially like being an opening act.
Yeah.
Like when we'd be at Caesar's Palace, the guy would always say, "The sub-stars are in position." Like the sub-stars.
Sub-stars.
Because you realize if you weren't there, the show would go on.
Yeah.
So as an opening act, your role is really a very subservient role.
Yeah.
So be on time, be nice to everybody. Right. Know about your cues, have everything. Here's my cue sheet, as opposed to, wait, let me write something down for you. Here's my introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get to be a big shot in the world of juggling.
And I'm fine with that. I mean,
well, I think unfortunately it has hurt some jugglers in wanting a lot more respect than the world of juggling can offer.
Yeah.
And sometimes they turn to other jugglers.
Sure.
Like I think this is one thing that maybe happened to Gatto, which was like, okay, I understand that the general public doesn't respect juggling, but when other jugglers don't seem to respect juggling, that can be really irking. I think to like a Dick Franco or Albert Lucas or these guys who really are top professional jugglers.
Yeah.
And then people are on the internet saying like, "Oh, I don't think he's that artistic," or "I don't," whatever their complaints are.
Sure.
They're like, "No, at least you guys should appreciate what I'm doing."
Well, and it's interesting for us too. I mean, we've always been very interested in being good jugglers, and especially early in our career, we were setting records for club
gold
passing
members
and things like that.
You won 2 championships, or
Yep. Well, we won one. We got a gold in teams, and we got silver in teams, but also club passing and 10 clubs and all that stuff. But at some point, it becomes, we don't even really compare ourselves to an Anthony Gatto or a Victor Key.
Right, really technically.
We're a comedy act. We definitely, it's all built around juggling, but really what our job is to get there and entertain people and make sure they're laughing.
But you're good jugglers. I think sometimes there are professional comic jugglers who aren't good enough jugglers.
Yeah.
They're just bad jugglers.
Right.
You're going, I can do 4 balls. That's not really a professional level.
Yeah, we've always been pretty proud that we have, I think, one of the highest levels of both. We might not be the most technical or we might not be the most hilarious, but for both of those things at the same time are both really high, and we've been proud of that.
I've often thought the same about like what I do, is that I'm a good juggler for a comedy juggler. And that's important. Yeah,
sure.
And you guys are really strong jugglers, and you really represent juggling well, but we both realize it's not about the juggling, because you're not presenting like a 10-minute act to music, where it's all about the skill is the star of the show.
Yeah. And I think that was nice that we learned that fairly early on, that it wasn't about the juggling. I mean, we think of ourselves as jugglers, and we treat, I mean, we practice it every week, and we work on new things, and make sure that our skills are as good as they can be, but it's not really about the juggling.
No, it's a tool that you then put your personalities across, you put your humor across, and you also have created some really original juggling routines. So not just developing the skill, it's how do you apply the skill in a creative fashion.
Yeah.
To learn to juggle 5 clubs is not a creative feat.
Yeah.
But the better you are and the more diversity you have as jugglers, obviously the more different routines you can create. Where some jugglers, I think like Michael Davis, I think his lack of juggling prowess at a certain point hurt his development if he was going to continue as a comic juggler.
Yeah.
You should have branched into shaker cups and devil sticks.
Right.
Yeah, just a 3-object cascade or 5 balls or something. There's only so much you can build around that. But yeah.
But as far as the comedy part of it and the format of the comedy juggler, I still think he is the supreme example.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, if you're going to be a juggler, and like you guys, a lot of jugglers also don't have the work ethic. Like they don't maintain a practice. They hit a certain plateau. Well, how much do you practice anymore? Like, well, I don't really practice anymore.
Yeah.
But what's your guys' like weekly practice regime like? What do you think you put in per week? Or does it vary based on what you have coming up?
It varies definitely based on our travel, but when we're home, we generally get together 3 or 4 days a week for 2 or 3 hours a day.
That's great.
And there are some weeks when we're working on something new and we'll get together every day.
And you guys actually have a clubhouse.
Yeah.
You call it the clubhouse?
We call it the clubhouse.
The clubhouse because it's got the word club in there.
Yeah, see what we did there?
I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, like juggling.
Because I didn't go to college.
Right. Oh, see?
That's subtleties.
There's still time.
They go past.
So it's a warehouse space. It's about halfway between where we both live.
I've been there. It's really nice.
Yeah, thanks.
You have a club actually juggling club that comes sometimes
jugglers.
Yeah, they meet there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or Wednesdays, Thursdays. I don't know what it is.
Something like that.
But it's a great creative space, and we've really
that's great. I mean, I think that's one of the problems with me and Barry was at a certain point, and I think that's the same thing with Penn and Teller. If you continue that work ethic of it's a business, we need to maintain our skills. We need to develop new skills. We need to make sure that physically we're fit, that our show is on point, is the only way to keep it vital, keep it going.
Yeah, we realized at some point just to be able to throw your props in a duffel bag and show up at a gym and practice and then leave, that's not the kind of practice we need to do. We need to like build stuff and leave it laying around and experiment with things and be able to show up at 10 o'clock at night and work on something if we want, or 8 in the morning, and to have our own space is really.
And do you guys
really
videotape
great.
What you do? What's your
Some,
process? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on what it is and what stage it's at. There are a lot of times where we set up cameras, and one thing that's fun about the space is we've got one end of it that looks like a stage and has curtains and lighting and everything. And so we can shoot videos in there that makes it look like we're doing a performance.
Nice.
And we have another painted wall where we shoot videos against it, where we talk to potential clients, or we make a little thank you video for people and shoot little things in there. So it makes for a nice video studio.
Yeah, I would like to have a Raspini clubhouse. That would have been.
I know. It's fun. You should get one.
One of the best parts of the whole thing is we've got sort of these couch area, like a little lounge. And a lot of the creativity happens there. I mean, you can be juggling and all of a sudden you have an idea and you just go sit down and get your computers out and start writing stuff. And, in a gym, that's not as conducive.
Well, I used to go to this fitness place. I'd go to the racquetball court.
Sure.
People would stare in they give you that look and it's not very conducive to anything except for okay, I'm going to get my practice in and get out of here.
Right. And then you feel a little self-conscious, and you're not going to, and plus you're not going to bring all your stuff with you. Here, we'll have an idea and go, oh, what if we had something on a balance pole?
You guys got segways, and you got...
we've got all kinds of stuff there. We can just run into the prop room.
Yeah, we got a prop room.
And find stuff.
And so how did you guys meet? So we sort of have a little background. Yeah. At what point did you guys... Was it an IGA?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you saw each other, but at first it was just a friendship. What happened initially?
Yeah, so it was 86 at the San Jose International Jugglers Association Convention.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
Our eyes met from across the gym.
Right, you looked up towards Owen's eyes because he was quite a bit taller.
Yeah, everything got blurry.
Exactly.
It actually got slow motion, a little black and white.
But did you really think at first, did you sort of sense a potential, or was it just oh, okay, just another guy, friend guy, but did you see him, how quickly did it become oh, we should do something?
We met because a mutual friend knew that we both passed 9 clubs and we both liked club passing, and said, oh, you should meet Owen. He's from California. And so we met, we passed clubs and had a lot of fun, had a similar style, similar sense of humor. We just got to be good friends. Immediately just hit it off.
Were you working with a team at that time, and were you working solo? Was that?
Yeah, I was still solo.
And I was working with Tui Wilson from Minnesota at that time. But
still a top pro. Tui's out there doing his thing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Very talented. A very unsung juggler. So let's give a shout out to Tui Wilson.
He's crazy.
He's great.
Speaking of someone who's practicing, he was just sending me videos the last couple of days of new unicycle and ring spinning, and I mean the guy's a monster.
He's super creative too. I'm a big fan of Tui Wilson, so we'll give him a nice shout out here.
There you go.
Yeah, so he and I were working together for a couple of summers. We never really planned on it being a long-term thing. We were just good friends, and we liked working together, so we thought we'd do it for a while. But he had such a good solo act that he wasn't looking to be a duo full-time. And so I had mostly only worked with other people. So I kind of had in the back of my mind, geez, I've got to find somebody to work with who wants to do this. Owen and I, we first just started talking about getting together the next year and competing.
Because you were in L.A. and you were still in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And both in college at that
And both in college,
yeah.
Right.
So we thought maybe we should come a little early next year to the IJA convention and practice for a few days and enter teams.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be fun?
And that would have been Akron in 87.
Yeah, I was there as well, Akron, yeah.
So we talked about it and then didn't do it. And then we hung out in Akron again and went, hey,
remember that idea that we had?
I got you, okay.
Maybe we should do it next year. And,
right.
And so, but then at the end of Akron, I was about to leave, and that's where I remember just literally about to drive away because I had to go to some gig somewhere, Tui and I said, wait, I want to talk to Owen before we get out of here. And so we talked, and I said, hey, I know we've been talking about competing or something, but what are your plans after college? What are you doing? Would you be interested in maybe...
So here's that talk.
Okay?
Yeah. Would you be interested in putting an act together and just doing this for a while, like full time? And I don't know exactly what you were thinking at that time, but
it sounded cool, and we thought, and he's a year ahead of me in college, so he was going to be graduating. And I said, well, maybe move out to California, and we'll try to. And that was '88.
And you would be working at Disneyland because that was a pretty formative gig, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There were a lot of jugglers who did that.
Right.
Because that's when I remember you from back in because we grew up pretty much in the same area.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we'd go to Valley College, the juggling meeting. I remember you were one of the Disneyland jugglers.
Yeah, Royal Court Jester.
Yeah, and there was Tyler Lincoln, and Randy Pryor, and
Dana Daniels,
and
some really
Tim Simpson.
Sure.
Yeah, some good performers are working there.
So then, did you then compete the next year? Was that what happened?
Yeah, let's see. We did compete the next year.
So we got together.
So you moved out.
Two weeks
you moved out to California.
Yeah, right after
and you were still in college, or
still
okay, but in the sort of spirit. What was that like? You just came out, and were you living together? Or were you sleeping in the same bed with wearing the little hoodies like me and Barry did?
We had bunk beds.
You had bunk beds.
Or they were hammocks like Skipper and Gilligan.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a picture.
That's good.
So you're working on your act. You're going to school. You're maybe doing some shows.
Yeah, we were roommates for a year. We just lived in a little 2-bedroom apartment in Tustin, and Owen went to classes, and then we practiced whenever we could, and we both worked at Disneyland for a while, and we did little gigs here and there, through his contacts and my contacts. Before we'd actually ever performed together, we had booked a whole summer worth of work.
Nice.
At fairs and festivals and Disneyland and all kinds of stuff, just based on the relationships we each had with various bookers. Mm-hmm. So, we had about 2 weeks, or did we have even less? We had only a couple of days before the first show at the Sawdust Festival.
Oh yeah, we had 2 days before the first show at the Sawdust Festival.
Right, that was in Long Beach because
Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach.
Yeah,
right. I never worked that, but that was the thing you guys worked many times.
It was great.
Yeah.
Just a great
Still exists,
spot.
or
Still, sure.
Tiny little place.
They're still booking that thing? Who books that? I'm looking for work. Hook me up.
It was one of those great, like the giving percentage in your hat was huge,
which is always nice.
Yeah, you'd have an audience of 100 people, and you'd make $250.
Right, everybody would give something.
Exactly, and no change. It was all cash. It was amazing.
This is back in...
This is the 88.
Yeah. You know what's sad about street performing is, back then, like we started around the same time, maybe a little earlier, you'd get $1 or $2, maybe $5, maybe $10, maybe $20. Now it's like 30 years later, you get $1, maybe $2. Maybe $5. It's exactly the same.
Is it really?
And now it's like, and things cost a lot more.
Sure.
You used to get a USA Today for 50 cents. Now it's $2.
Right.
But a tip. $1 is still like, here's your dollar.
Here's your dollar, little juggler boy.
Exactly.
I used to love making the cash, though.
It's fun.
So much fun to jump out.
I still do it sometimes. I still do it.
Dump out the bags of cash, count it up, and maybe roll around in it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Even to this day, we'll walk.
Fill a bathtub with it. And
we'll be in some city, and we'll see some park and some benches, and we kind of go, oh, that's the good.
I did that yesterday. I was
really?
at the farmer's market. Where's that, on Beverly?
Right.
This would be a great spot.
I know. I'm thinking, I was with Dana Smith. And I'm like, Dana, did you ever work out here? He's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like,
someone, I get a little table act right here.
Yeah.
I do that too. And, we'll travel around the country, making thousands of dollars to perform, and we'll watch a street performer, and you go, "Oh my gosh, I bet that guy
so
just
immediate.
made $200."
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
What's funny is I'm here in Hermosa Beach, and tomorrow I'm here at the Comedy Magic Club, but tomorrow there's a little holiday fair going on right here, like from 11 to 6.
Yeah.
Okay,
What about the three of us?
there you go. A little
Team it up.
street
A
show.
little passing Raspini zone.
Yeah.
And do it.
All right, let's put on some tights.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are now. When does the name Passing Zone come up? What do you call yourself initially?
Actually, Tui and I called ourselves the Passing Zone.
Interesting.
When we were working together.
So there was a pre-existing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm not the original Owen.
Oh,
There was
interesting.
another Owen.
So you and Tui were called the Passing Zone.
Yeah, and that was just based on the word passing
Right.
and trying to, there wasn't really anything all that clever about it, but we couldn't come up with anything better.
Now,
So
when looking back, do you regret that name? Is that something that you feel has worked?
we think it's been good, but I
Right.
think if we had to do it all over again, we would probably be like the John and Owen show, or
I don't think we would be
the
Raspini
Owen
Brothers.
and John show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in that
I
era,
think having your name, in that era, it was like
it was much more like you needed a team name.
Right.
Yeah.
Air
like,
Jazz or
still the best name ever.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
No
yeah,
question.
it was like a band. You had to have a name.
And the
Flying
Gizmo
Colors.
guys.
Sure.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a Penn and Teller. That's
Exactly. And we and Morse are pretty. I always think it should be like we and Morse, the Passing Zone. Something that gets the names in there.
Something that makes you think, realize that you're two people. Because what is the Passing Zone? That doesn't
Very
really
few
say what it
acts,
is.
unless they're like Mum and Sean's or
Right.
Stomp.
Yeah.
But most two-man acts were like Martin and Lewis,
Right.
Yeah.
Dan Rowan and Dick Martin. It was always based on Abbott and
Rowan
Costello.
Hardy.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like Abbott and Costello were called
The wacky,
whatever.
clowny guys.
the Comedy Zone.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but at that time you chose a moniker.
Yeah.
And so were you did you go along with the Passing Zone? Is like that was okay? We'll
Yeah,
do
I
the Passing Zone.
think we spent maybe a week trying to. Can we come up with something better? Should we call it John and Owen? And
Right.
Owen and John, or we and Morse? I think we just said, nah.
Just couldn't come up with something we like better, and
Yeah.
sort of like, let's just stay with that.
Yeah.
So from the beginning you were the Passing Zone. That's interesting.
Yeah, and again, this was like, let's do this for 2 years.
Okay.
And then we'll go get a real job.
Really? That was the
that
thinking.
kind of it. Yeah, let's try this for a little bit.
Or for a while. And
Yeah.
Why did you think it was sort of a juvenile pastime? Why was that thinking there? Because you'd gone to college, maybe, or
or just let's give it a shot for this long and see.
I got
Yeah,
you.
we can always fall back on getting a real job
Yeah.
when
There
we
weren't a
need
lot of
to.
role models. You didn't look at like juggling and go like nowadays you can see like if you're a guitar player like I could grow up to be Eddie Van Halen.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and there
And
was
juggling.
the Flying Karamazov brothers. That would be great to
Right.
do what they're doing. And at that time when I was learning too, Michael Davis was out there and showing up on television. And I mean, it was really what I wanted to do. I remember one of the reasons I wanted to team up with Owen and move out to California. I very specifically remember thinking, if I don't try this, I'll never know if I could have ended up on the Tonight Show.
Interesting.
And so to come out here and to 2 years later
Right.
be on the Tonight Show was
So that was a goal in your mind to.
yeah, absolutely.
Because that for me, I never watched the show. I knew.
Did you not?
No, I wasn't like I wouldn't say I wasn't a fan.
Right.
But like if Air Jazz was on or Michael Davis was on.
Yeah.
My goal was to be on Circus of the Stars.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah,
My goal was to be get in the Guinness Book of World Records and be in Circus of the Stars.
Okay.
Because for us, the Tonight Show, was our first TV show ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was not a great. It was really not the first one you wanted to do. So when did you? So you started to work, and then how long before you were on the Tonight Show? Was it a couple of years? Because it seemed to happen pretty fast.
Yeah, we were on the fall of '90, so we got
Yeah.
together in '88. So it was
Wow.
just
Yeah.
over 2 years.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was actually our first night at the Comedy Magic Club. Jim McCauley was in the audience. And
Yeah, the talent booker for the Tonight Show.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, he's passed away a few years back.
Yeah, and he was there to see David Spade.
Right.
Okay.
And David Spade was still a writer on the Tonight Show, and nobody really knew who he was.
Or Saturday Night Live.
Or I'm sorry, it's Saturday Night Live, yeah. And so, he came to see David Spade, and we performed, and he really liked us, and he didn't like David Spade. So that's
Great timing, though.
yeah. That's why David Spade's career has been
Exactly.
struggling.
David
You've
Spade,
surpa-
who?
Exactly. Like, knock, knock, David Spade. Who?
Yeah. We totally just derailed him right there.
I just read his book, actually. He just came out with an autobiography.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. No, he recovered.
He did okay.
He recovered from it. Yeah, so he just right there said, "You guys were great. Really loved it. I want to put you guys on the show. Give me your number, and I'll call you."
Yeah. So what was that moment like? What was that?
Come on.
I mean, of course, we're trying to play it cool. We're
Sure.
like, oh, yes, sir. That would be
And
fantastic.
had you done other TV shows, or was this also, had you done some smaller stuff?
Yeah,
or?
we did what?
We'd done Comic Strip Live.
Yes.
Comic Strip Live,
Right.
But
which
I
was a
think
good
that's
venue.
maybe the only thing we had done.
Right.
So still pretty early in your guys' career as
Yeah.
well.
For sure.
I mean, I still laugh about it now that we were so unqualified at that time. We didn't realize how unqualified we were. We thought we were good.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, all these years later, looking back, I think, oh my gosh, we barely knew what we were doing. And since then, we're so much more qualified and now can't get on the show.
Right, exactly.
It's like, whoa,
exactly.
how did that happen at that age?
And so what was that experience like for you guys? So how long between the time you knew you were going to be on the show to the actual booking? Because that's a pretty...
It was
It
quick.
was a month or something.
Yeah.
Because even that period, that whole month, were you thinking like, it's getting closer? It's getting closer.
Yeah. We had to keep going up an audition for, just for Jim. Like one guy, he'd go, hey, rework the opening.
I see.
Do something else.
So you had a few meetings with him between the time.
Yeah, and he had to be happy with what we were doing, which we didn't realize at the time, but I've learned since he's notorious for that, for just
he gave us some feedback as well.
Okay.
But he was very good.
Yeah.
It wasn't that kind of feedback where sometimes you're like going like, I'll never do that.
Right.
He was Jim McCauley for a reason.
Yeah.
He had a good eye.
He wanted us to open with the torch juggling thing to music, which we had never done. I mean, we basically invented that little 30-second opener just for the Tonight Show.
That's a tough thing.
Oh, yeah.
To come out and do some comedy, but to come out right at juggling.
Yeah.
And then do something you've never performed in front of any audience before, ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh man,
terrifying.
Come on.
I can as a secondhand experience.
My palms are sweating right now just putting my mind back in that position.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you came out, she did a little torch routine to music.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you got into the club passing.
Yeah.
But when did you? Was that the one with the Carson
We did
with
the
bowling ball?
Yeah, we started with the
yeah.
bowling ball then. Yeah, and
Right.
hit him in the face with
So
the
it's
bowling
first the torches,
First the torches,
then the bowling ball,
Right.
and then the 7 club,
6 club passing,
and then going into 7.
We did
Yeah.
7 the next time. The second.
Oh,
time
did
we
you?
Yep. Yeah, we just did 6 the first time.
Okay.
And yeah, it was. I mean, it is funny when you watch the whole spot now.
They're long.
They're
our spot's
7
long.
minutes.
Yeah, our spot was like 8
7.
minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, I think now you can only get about 3.5 or 4.
Right.
or
If you're
something.
lucky, if you're a top comic, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But they had us on like the top of the show.
Really?
Yeah. Both times we were on, it was the first guest.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
cool.
a good spot.
That's a good spot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was what it was. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that immediately just helped everything.
Right. So
right
what
there.
kind of, did you get some calls from it? What was the response? What was the aftermath of your Tonight Show?
The big one was shortly after we got a call from the movie producers of the Addams Family.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys doubled for the stars of the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long did you work on that project?
We were actually only we were there about 5 days of filming, or a couple days of rehearsing and a couple days of filming.
So you're saying 5 or 6 days?
Yeah. That was a wild experience.
Yeah,
Dude,
that
just
must have
being
been
on a
fun.
movie
I remember you
set.
guys were at Valley College and you came in you had did you shave your head or something?
No, they painted my hair black and
Right. Because you were supposed to be Raul Julia.
Yes.
And you were Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, and I had a big bald head and a fat suit and everything.
Oh, and they gave us these ridiculous knives to juggle
Right.
that were awful.
Yeah.
Were you able to change them, or that's what you had to use?
No, we had to use
We
them.
basically used those, and they were really balanced terribly, and we had to do all these under the legs and behind the back throws and double spin passing and things.
Those were was those long days on the set when you did those scenes? Was it? And were the stars on the set while you were doing it, or how'd that work?
Yeah, because this was the big climactic.
Yeah, I remember the movie.
Scene.
Yeah,
so
it was a big dance scene.
Yeah, all the main actors were there.
Did you guys feel like you were in show business?
The whole cast. and it was kind of scary because that scene, everybody's kind of singing and dancing and going around, and as central to the whole scene is the juggling.
Sure.
Right.
So when we were shooting it, we were kind of the only thing that could go wrong, unless somebody fell over, or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
But so we realized, and they were juggling these horrible knives. we did drop a few times, and they had to start the whole thing over, you know, and everybody had to go back to their place at the beginning again. We're like, oh no.
One time, not to divert, but I was doing this gig with another juggler. This guy supposedly could pass, but he was awful.
Oh, no.
And then at a certain point, the director stopped. He goes, "Can we get some better juggling from the jugglers?"
Oh no!
The whole thing stopped. Can the jugglers do a little bit better, please?
Just
because this
better.
guy, we were passing 6 balls, and the guy,
he just couldn't keep it going.
And I'm like, maybe you should say the juggler. One of us is okay.
Yeah.
But he actually stopped the whole thing. We got some better juggling from the jugglers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like you weren't trying your best then.
Yeah, okay, we'll try harder. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I go, can I get a better juggler to work with, please?
Right.
Yeah, so
That show never saw the light of day, though. It was good.
That was pretty scary to have the whole production basically
right.
riding on whether or not we made a mistake.
Did you ever see, I think it was Annie, where they have Michael Motion, and he's doing like a torch juggling routine? Like he drops at the very end.
Oh, no, I didn't.
And I mean,
see
for
that.
me as a juggler, I'm noticing, he dropped.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're going like,
Whatever.
I'm sure he's like, you know,
There's so many things going on.
I know. They're like, oh, but he's like, oh no, but they're not going to go, let's stop because Michael had a drop there in the back.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That was fun. Then you guys did 2 spots.
Yeah,
So
we were on.
what was the time frame between the 2 appearances?
Just a year, right?
Just, a year, a little under a year.
So you came back and did 7 back to back.
Right, and then the shoulder balance where John's up
Oh,
on my
right.
shoulders.
Was that the finale then?
Yeah.
Yep. And
With
then,
torches, did you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did that with the polka dot joke, which is
Right.
usually in a different part of the show. But we
Let's talk about the polka dot joke. That's one of your famous jokes. So, John, you always wear a polka dot shirt.
Yeah.
And at one point in the show, it's usually in the knife passing.
Yeah, we're about to start passing the sickles around
Right.
the person.
Drop a
with the
knife.
Drop one. And
Give us a little rendition, if you will.
oh, here it
Oh,
is.
John,
What?
John,
Oh.
come on.
No,
John,
okay.
you know what happens whenever you drop a torch
all right,
or
just
a sickle.
Get it over with.
How many
Just do-
times is this going to
No,
tail?
just
Come,
do
you
it.
Need
I
to
know. This
hang
is
on
so
to those sickles.
stupid.
And then Dot comes
Dot
out.
comes out,
Oh,
and add a dot to his already polka dot shirt.
It's a classic joke.
It's a fun
classic
one.
joke.
It's so fun to save that one towards the end of the show.
Because you know it's a big one.
And everybody's looking at John's shirt the whole show going, that's an odd choice.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it
And you got the polka
wouldn't
dot
be-
socks.
Right.
It wouldn't be as funny if the shirt wasn't such a bad-looking shirt anyway. That everybody at some point has asked themselves, why did he choose that shirt?
Yeah.
So it's sort of this almost a
Classic
reveal.
passing Joan joke, though.
Thanks.
It's
So you did twice, like we did twice as well.
Yeah.
And I thought both your spots went well.
yeah.
Why do you think? I know why we never got a 3rd spot. Why do you think that you guys didn't continue just doing more spots?
I think we would have,
Basically-
but he retired.
Yeah, it was less than a year later that he was
I
off
gotcha.
the air, and
Yeah.
we had been talking with them about doing a 3rd, and it just came to a point where they said, "Yeah, we're full."
Where there's no more
Yeah.
spots.
For us, we had a 3rd meeting with Jim McCauley.
Okay.
We put a set together.
Yeah.
We auditioned for him. He said, "I couldn't be happier. I'll have you guys on in 6 weeks."
And that was the
But
last
somebody further up, we think it was Freddie DeCorvita, just said, "No, we gave him a couple shots."
What?
So there's someone higher up just said, "No, we gave him a
Huh.
couple. That was enough."
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, because Jim McCauley, we thought we're on.
You're in.
There we go.
There you
We're
go.
on first. We thought we were gonna just keep going on.
So
and
Yeah.
yours were in 84 and 86, is that right?
No, I think I said 84 recently on a Facebook post, and Barry corrected me that it was 86.
I know it was 86 because it was
And maybe
during
maybe
the,
86 and 88, maybe.
that might have been
that
it.
it?
Because the second one was during the IJA convention.
I think it was the first one. I think 86. I think we were
Was it?
in 86 watching you guys at the juggling festival going.
There
"Look,
was
there's our
one while
boys."
we were on.
Yeah.
That's when we passed around Carson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Because we were at a convention when that came out. Because we actually flew. Because he actually said in the introduction, and then they're going to compete in the IJA convention
Right.
coming up, and then but we went in.
That's fun timing.
We had a set that was we had a special stunt that we created just for the Tonight Show, and he said I couldn't be happier. But then we heard
And it
nope,
just didn't happen.
somebody put the kibosh on it.
Yeah,
That's devastating.
we had a similar thing happen.
You know,
with-
we had moved on. It was disappointing, but
Right.
we were already doing the opening act stuff.
All
and
right, so you were fine.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other TV at the time. We were doing a lot of TV,
Yeah.
but of course it was disappointing.
We got a call from Letterman at one point,
Hmm.
and they said, "Yeah, how about next Thursday?"
Wow.
And we're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, that works." And they said, "Okay, we'll call you back." And then they called back and said, "It's not this week, but we'll figure out a date next week." And this went on for a little while, and then they said, "Oh, we'll call you when there's an opening." And then a month later, we call back, say, "Hey, what's going on?" "Oh, he doesn't work here anymore."
Oh.
Why don't you send us a video?
Right.
We're starting over.
No, we thought we were there.
Yeah.
But one show you guys did, which I was quite a bit jealous, you did a what was it called? The Royal Variety Performance.
Yeah.
Right.
How did they discover you for that, and how did that come about?
That was, they saw us on a British
That's right.
television show that we had done the
Was
year
it Paul
before.
Daniels, or did you do that? Or
No, we were on the Brian Conley show.
Mm-hmm.
The British comic who had his own variety show for a while.
Right.
And the producers from the Royal Variety Show saw that and liked it and then booked us basically straight from that. Saw us on that, said, "Hey, come
And that was
back
for Prince Charles and Lady Diana?
Yeah.
Actually, she
Diana?
wasn't there.
Oh, she wasn't there?
No,
Was
it was after they were split.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right.
So
But
he was there, and
Got to meet him afterwards, and
yeah, that was really an interesting experience to be the audience would sort of look to the box and make sure he was laughing or make sure he was enjoying things before
Interesting,
they would.
right before they would.
so there's just this
Wow, there's really that royalty.
Oh yeah.
And they told us you have to bow toward the box before and after.
Wow.
And
And did you look at him while you were performing at all?
a couple of times we sort of directed something.
Because we did the show for the president. I know we were talking about the other day. And I did not look at the president until the very end. So we were all done. I did not want to go like,
Whoa.
We had one line that we did at the end that we didn't do in rehearsal because we knew if we did it in rehearsal,
they would ask
tell us not to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
Really? That's gutsy. What was the?
It was gutsy. I'm not sure quite why.
Do you remember the line? What was the?
Yeah.
It's like something about his giant ears or something.
No.
I hope you could hear okay with those giant ears.
That's what I should have said.
Yeah. Where's your wife anyway?
Yeah.
No. So we got
to come out to Dirty Diana, that song that Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Dirty Diana.
We got to the end and we just said it's been such an honor performing here for all of you, and particularly to be performing in front of His Royal Highness the Prince of Wellington.
John, I see.
John, that's Wales.
Okay, whatever.
You said John, that's Beef Wellington. The Prince of Wales.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we got the whatever line.
Whatever. It's so disrespectful.
Oh my God.
And it got a very good laugh, and he laughed.
Right.
But we're sure
That's
that
pretty
if we
cocky.
put that in rehearsal, they'd have said,
No, that's not happening.
Gentlemen, don't do that.
We don't do that here.
So we got away with that one.
Well, that was, like I said, that was one I was kicking myself a little bit, like, those guys, really? We had worked we had done Jeremy Beadle's Box of Tricks. We had done a show over there.
And you got to perform in front of the president, so we didn't get that one.
Yeah. But I still think that you guys, as far as success, as far as your work in the corporate field, have surpassed what we've done by so far. So at what point did you guys start doing like corporate? You also did. There's one thing you guys did that I want to talk about. At a certain point, you guys did a halftime show on rollerblades.
Oh my God!
Like you did NBA halftimes on rollerblades.
That seemed like such a great idea.
Yeah, how that
at the time,
right? Because you did that for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
We did. I would say we did about 3 seasons of NBA halftime shows.
Right.
And it was one of those markets that we were just never quite right for.
It's a tough market.
It is a tough market.
I think Josh Horton is now doing really well.
He is doing well.
He does well.
Yeah.
And the David and Danya quick change.
Sure.
Does a
And the girl with the
job.
cups on the unicycle does very well. It has to be very fast, 6 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Very circusy.
We did
and
one.
kind of,
Did you? How did it go?
We were the Juggling Elvises.
How was that?
I thought that was a good idea.
There you go. Perfect. On rollerblades?
No. But to Elvis music, of course, and we juggled little guitars, and we had these scarves that doubled as bowl, as poi, and we did one talk show, Crook and Chase. We're out in Miami. The whole we paid for the suits, and I think we made a little dollars, and we quickly.
It's over.
Yeah, so
it was hard. We did. I think the first year we did about 20 of them, and then the second year we did about 12, and then the next year we did about 8, and
Right.
we thought, this is not going in the right direction.
Not the trend we were looking for.
And so finally we decided one of the problems was we need to be more visual, use more of the court, so rollerblades.
Yeah, and rollerblades had just sort of hit.
But you ended up getting injured at a certain point. Did you sprain an ankle, or like you went up to do a dunk or something?
Yeah, I broke my wrist.
Your wrist.
Yeah. So it was the thing at the end of at the end of our show, is John would dribble a basketball up on the right side, and I'd come from the left. He'd put it up off the backboard. I'd grab it and dunk it.
On rollerblades?
No. Just on...
That got a better response than the juggling.
Right.
Even
He can dunk.
At 6'3", I still look really short on a basketball court.
Compared especially to those giants out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that would get a huge... how did that happen? Well, I've been playing basketball my whole life.
Right. So what point did the corporate start? Is that something that you recognized as the market you wanted to get into, or just kind of started happening?
A little of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it sort of happened as we get, again, performing just out there for anything. You get asked for, hey, we're having our company party, and would you do this? And then, because we're having this party, our theme is such and such, can you work in the theme or teamwork or something? And, suddenly you realize, wait, there's a demand out there for these corporations who want to be entertained but also want to have a little bit of a message as well.
Right.
So if we customize to what they do or juggle their products and all of that, it's a great market, and especially as a two-person act, teamwork idea. I mean, that's...
They hire us, and the theme of their meeting was called The Power of Partnership. And you just go, well, there you go.
You ever hit those ones where the theme is like, we juggle a lot of things. You're like, all right, here's the jugglers.
Exactly. Yeah, here they come.
Yeah.
And so it just turned into a real natural tie-in, and we sort of knew from doing it that the money was good.
Sure.
It was really a nice way also, because both of us are married and having kids and all of that, and we just didn't want to be working on a cruise ship.
It's more of a
for 3
one-nighter
months.
style. Did you guys ever do? I don't think of you guys as a college act. Did you ever do like a college?
Sure.
We did quite a bit.
Yeah, early on.
Yeah, we did a lot of colleges in the early days, but and we realized anything that involves a lot of touring and a lot of time away was really, really challenging with a family.
Especially on relationships.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a lot of jugglers find that they're gone. Like I was talking to a guy the other day. He goes, I have to leave for 4 months. Like my summer season.
Yeah.
He goes, because it's hard to tell somebody like we're having a relationship, but at a certain point, I'm going to be gone for 4 months.
Yeah, it's really, really
No, for
hard
us
to
too.
do.
The schedule became more like you're gone for a few days, you're home.
Yep.
Yeah, the one-nighters on the corporate circuit is pretty good.
Yeah.
How about one or two corporate shows that stand out as being especially that you look at and go, yeah, for these jugglers out there who are trying to do the corporate market, these are the kinds you aspire to, like in Hawaii or any places you went. Like we went one time to Bali for Monsanto.
Yeah.
Like they put us like 4 days at the.
Nice. Yeah.
Of course, I got dysentery.
Oh, well,
and was sick during the show.
Well, it is.
But it could have been great. It could have been great.
Yeah.
Some of these resorts, I mean, next thing you know, you're staying at the Four Seasons in.
You ever do the
Puerto
Phoenician
Rico
in Phoenix?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful one.
Love the Phoenician.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you get treated great. You stay in a hotel that you couldn't afford on your own,
right?
And you get flown to a nice location.
You're checking in, and you're handing them your credit card, and they go, "Oh no, everything's taken care of.
We don't need that."
Do you ever look at the price on the door and go, $680?
Right? Yeah.
Who's paying that?
Exactly.
Not me.
We need to raise our fees.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously we could go through a lot of you do a lot of corporates. In fact, you guys, was it last year or the year before, were actually voted into the Speaker Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Right.
That is very impressive.
That's
Thanks.
Very cool.
It was really a big honor, and especially they take their speaking very seriously.
No, for
and
sure.
their qualifications to do that and everything, and it's we had been going to the National Speakers Association conventions for many years, and had performed a number of times on stage for that, which is always really
sure, because you're actually performing for meeting planners.
Exactly.
That can't suck. That's got to be pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you kill it, you're like, we killed it, and then you're gonna get
other
some gigs.
other speakers too, because then your reputation gets out there as if everybody loves what you do, they start talking about it.
Sure. Or who'd you work with? Oh, we worked with the Passing Zone, and they killed it. And
so that's helped a lot. In fact, that was one of the corporate gigs that went. I mean, it was the first time we performed for that group. It was just perfect. It was just the biggest home run.
Yeah.
We were on multiple times over multiple days, and every time we came back out, they would give us a standing ovation before we started.
Exactly.
It was so.
It's so nice to kill when you know there's residual business. Sometimes you do a show, you go, okay, this show's only going to exist in this certain time.
Right.
And nothing's going to come of it.
Yeah.
But when you do a show where you're like, when they have like maybe a customer appreciation, where they have all their customers.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
This could go viral.
Yeah. Everyone in the audience works for a different company. Yeah, those are really
So what advice, generally, like for people getting into the corporate, it's changed a lot over the years. It's much tougher.
It is.
Yeah.
I think there's fewer jobs just to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you guys have kind of branched out and doing more performing arts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do a fair amount of theaters around the country, public stuff. We realized we were doing a few too many just private corporate things, and we'd have fans or people who want to see us, and they're like, when are you performing somewhere where I can come? We're like, never.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
If people want to know when the Passing Zone are coming to their town and when they can see you guys, do you list your public events on your website?
Yep.
We do, yeah.
That's
And
on
that's
our website.
passingzone.com.
It is, yeah.
And also you have a video of your show, which is called When Gravity Attacks? Is that,
that was the first,
okay.
the last version.
Oh, this is You Guys Save the World.
No,
Yes.
The Passing Zone saves the world.
Right, and you were talking about the story that Pluto has been downgraded as a planet.
It's
and
a terrible thing. Yeah,
It's going to come to destroy the Earth. But in the meantime, let's have some fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe there's something, a couple of guys who know something about gravity and how things work.
I got you.
Maybe we can help. I don't know.
Yeah.
And by the end of the evening, wouldn't you know it, we saved the world.
Yeah.
Nice. But if people want to go and they want to buy the DVD, it's available on. But even better would be to check your schedule and actually see the Passing Zone.
Yeah. Come
But you can
us
see
live.
routines like the Chainsaw Ballet. Let's talk a little about a couple before we get to the end.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. We're getting there. Let's talk about a couple of classic Passing Zone routines and how they developed. So of course, the first one that really But when that Chainsaw Ballet came out, I'm like, okay, that's a totally different deal. So how'd that develop?
Well, as jugglers, everybody, your audience is calling
Chainsaw.
out juggle chainsaw. So you go, no, we don't do that. If we're gonna do it,
For
let's
a
think of
while,
something clever.
we resisted it for a while, but then if we do want to be regarded as
Sure.
the best jugglers out there, you have to do chainsaws, I guess.
Yeah.
So we just were like, how do we do it that's different? On how and I don't know exactly really where the idea came from.
Chainsaw Ballet?
Well, somewhere it was the music and the
Right. Right.
That sort
idea.
of came to our mind. Went,
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
that's pretty funny.
That would be great. So it was almost that music and the revving of the chainsaws.
I got you.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that as sort of being the genesis of like that we need to. What are we going to do with this?
Yeah.
Well, and the juxtaposition of the roaring chainsaws and the just very
comedy that makes sense. You have the two things colliding, and
correct.
Comedically it makes a lot.
Yeah.
You brought in John Held. Did he help you choreograph it?
Yeah, John Held choreographed that. Yeah, we knew he would be a great person.
Because he knows juggling and he knows dance.
And he's funny.
Yeah,
right.
You know.
And he's John Held.
right. And we get to pay to hang out with him.
Another shout out to John Held. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we worked with him for a couple of times, a handful of days here, and then like a month later.
So what was that first performance of the Chainsaw Ballet like? Did you go, we got a winner here? Or was it a little bit rough?
It was terrifying.
Was it terrifying?
And we didn't edit the music, so it was like 7 minutes.
Oh
long,
my
right?
god!
Yeah, it's
it was a whole
shorter
piece.
and shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Which is good because sometimes the magic's in the eraser, right?
Yeah.
That's a famous showbiz phrase.
Yeah.
The magic's in the eraser.
Yeah, every time we shorten something, it never goes back.
Right.
You know,
Right.
It's
Punchier
always
is better.
Yeah. Shorter.
That's the problem with a lot of people I see is that when people juggle, it's like, watch everything I ever thought of with this prop.
You know,
let's cut to the chase, okay?
Yeah, or try everything, find out what's
What works.
working,
Yeah.
and then cut out the stuff that isn't.
And what are the problems of traveling with a chainsaw nowadays? Do they let you, if there's gas fumes, did you ever have a problem where you would be called like whoever owns these chainsaws? I mean, did you ever have any issues with them?
We've had some issues.
Yes, we have. Yeah. We used to travel. This was actually before 9/11 and before Value Jet went down. We used to travel with them. We empty the saws of all the fuel. And I think if you were juggling chainsaws then, you were traveling with them.
Sure, of course.
But now you have to FedEx them, and you got to label them, and you got to clear.
You can't even bring them on the plane at all.
No.
And apparently at that time you couldn't either. It's just that
Right.
it wasn't quite as
right
publicized or obvious.
Right.
Or,
Yeah, some of the rules were probably rules, but they didn't actually.
Right.
You could be able to get on the plane without an ID. You would just get
sure.
on and
Well, like people used to be
give
able
someone your ticket. I'm not going here to give your friend your ticket, and
and they would say, "Oh, what are you guys jugglers? Yeah. Oh, you have chainsaws in there? Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So it's not, we were never
Right,
trying
right,
to hide it.
right.
We're like, okay, whatever. And
people ask that a lot. Like, do you have problems? Like, when people look at my bag of stuff, unless they're pretty dumb, they have to go like, oh. This guy must be some sort of entertainer. Look, he's got garden weasels and toy dog.
But they'll say you're a magician. They won't say you're a juggler.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have you had that a lot? Like
Do
this
a
guy,
magic
like
show?
I had a guy the other day. He's like, this father-daughter dances. He comes out. Who likes magic?
Exactly.
No.
No.
Then he goes, oh wait, oh no.
Hang
Who
on.
likes juggling?
Oh.
He caught himself. But I'm
Right.
like, oh, not the magic
Perfect.
thing.
Yeah, so those are a bit of a pain to travel with. And
Right.
We've got to get gas everywhere we go.
And you have to wear the tights under the costume
Yeah.
the whole.
Yeah.
That's the worst part, really,
Yeah.
of the whole thing. I mean, forever and ever, we've been wearing tights
Under
our
the-
clothes,
Oh.
which also means you got the whole shoulder straps and everything, and you can't use the bathroom right before you go on
Right,
stage.
right. I imagine there's a dance belt involved or some sort of,
Yeah.
some sort of
Yeah.
Evil undergarments.
Look that one up on Google.
yeah, dance. It's a
dance belt.
It
Yeah.
holds everything in place in
It's-
a very tight, constricting
Right.
fashion.
Yeah, so
But I like the guy you added the gag with the changing and the phony arm comes over and
yeah, that was
a lot
one
of
those
mileage
just
out of it.
problems that needed to be solved. We're like, how do we change
Right.
clothes and keep it entertaining? And
sometimes that's what happens. A problem comes up.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you forget a prop, and by having to replace it, you go, "Oh, that was so much better."
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that happens is
Problem
an
solving.
accident, and yeah, for sure.
Now we'll get to like probably the biggest juggling routine ever performed: people juggling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think that was my idea. Because I
Probably
was talking to
probably
Owen
was.
once in the airport about people juggling.
Ah.
But my idea was more like I don't think it was real people. It was more like mannequins with some kind of handle in the back, and I was going to manipulate them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I remember I thought to talk to Owen, like I'm going to juggle. So I basically
Okay.
that's pretty close.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
thank
pretty
you.
close.
Thank
Yeah.
you
No
for
problem.
that. Yeah.
Because that was a good one.
Yeah.
So what was it? The swinging of that guy who did the
Exactly in '88, I think it was. wasn't it?
Jorgs Mueller.
Mueller. Yeah.
Yeah, he did like a chimes that were hung from the
Right.
ceiling.
And that was one of those things where we had lots of different ideas about how we could juggle people. We realized, okay, that would be a cool thing. Can we
Right.
juggle 3 people from the audience? But then, is it bungee cords? Are you rolling them on ramps? What's
Right.
it going to be? So we had this idea of swinging in a juggling cascade kind of pattern. But then we sort of thought, well, it's not going to be entertaining enough.
Right.
It won't seem like juggling.
Right.
We're not
Yeah.
throwing and catching.
Yeah.
And so when we saw his act there, it was one of those revelations where
We
we
could
went,
do actually variations.
yeah, we went, that
Yeah.
actually is really entertaining.
It was.
And it really does seem like juggling. And so, yeah, it wasn't so much that it was an idea that we already had, but we knew from all the jugglers seeing him and liking him that it would look similar.
Right.
So we did approach him and said, hey, after seeing your thing, it really validated this idea we had. And is that cool with you if we do it? And he was like, absolutely, it sounds great.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you can go like, I have this totally different kind of thing.
Right.
But I want to approach you just to let you know that you inspired me.
yeah,
Yeah.
It
I want to give you like the heads up. Like these,
Sure.
Yeah. That's
uses
important.
what you're doing as
in a different way.
in a
You could have
different
just
way.
done it, and obviously you never would have
course.
seen this guy again. But that was a
Right.
very pro thing to do.
Yeah, and he really appreciated that, and we've tried to approach things like that too.
I do
you
as
feel like
well,
you're getting
yeah.
close to what someone else does. It's like, yeah. So we've suddenly realized, okay, this swinging people
Sure.
around thing actually works.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a process.
Did you bring
Like
anybody in to help you with the whole construction of it? How did you actually figure out how to develop that rig?
Yeah. Well, we got Steve Keeler.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. A magician prop builder
Okay.
in Orange County,
He did-
Illusionary Creations. And so, yeah, we kind of said, this is what we need. We need something that's going to support 3 full-grown adults.
Gotcha.
And it's got to be this high. And yeah.
Yeah.
So ballpark, what do you think you guys invested into creating something like? Is that a $10,000 trick? Is it a
Probably 15 or 20, I
Yeah.
suppose.
$20,000
but
trick?
Yeah, I'd say 20. Easy.
But when you guys present it, do you get an additional charge? Is there something
you
say, look, to bring this out, we need to get this extra?
Because it's so much more effort for us.
It's got to be shipped out or trucked out.
Expenses.
Well, and luckily we've streamlined it. So now all we have is a swivel that we attach to, trussing.
Gotcha.
And so we just say, okay, trim this truss at a certain height, and we'll show up with our...
Yeah, so the rigging is kind of their problem now.
Gotcha.
Right. So we don't do as much of that. But there is still a lot more props and a lot more rehearsal and a lot riding on it. We also travel with a third guy, with Josh Casey. Yeah, and he
good guy.
Yeah,
because
shout out to Josh Casey.
There you go.
Josh Casey's awesome.
Yeah,
So
good guy. Yeah.
So he then is the guy that gets everyone suited up backstage, because we have to make sure people are safe, that it's all put together right, and that has to happen while we're performing. So we really needed somebody else who can make that happen.
That's a good thing. Also, it's once again more professional. You have a third guy.
Right.
You can help set up your props, help tear it down.
Yeah.
One thing I always hated was that idea of, like, you do your show, you're this big rock star. It's like, okay, we got to put our toys away now.
I know.
You should be schmoozing at that point.
Yeah.
It is really nice to be able to, after the show, just go shake people's hands, talk to people, and actually know that the show is getting packed up. That's
nice.
that's
pretty
huge.
sweet.
Yeah, it's nice to reach that passing zone level where you can afford to actually bring a third person.
Well, and it looks more professional because now we're doing the kind of events where people are almost surprised that we don't have somebody. You know, and right now we only travel with Josh when we're doing that piece, or when we're doing our theater shows also, because there's a lot more involved there. But yeah, sometimes we get a feeling that it's a little strange that we show up and it's just us.
Right.
That there isn't
a crew, a production crew.
Exactly.
Like, where's your lighting and sound guy?
Who calls the cues and all of that? And
especially as you get higher in money, they're like, well, we're expecting that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys show up, you got your, you come down, you're looking good, you got the suits, you're professional, presenting yourself as a high caliber act.
Yeah,
even that's important. Before the show and after the show. I just talked to somebody who saw a great speaker who did an amazing job, standing ovation, and then they went and got in line for the book signing afterwards. Right. And they said his personality completely changed and just
became kind of a jerk,
totally flat.
Right.
And just seemed uninterested and unenthused, and she's like, it just ruined everything. Really,
it seemed phony then. Like
Yeah, she said it was like we were seeing an actor on stage, I guess, or something. And you realize you're on stage even when you're not on stage.
Especially like cruise ships or these corporate events.
Exactly.
A lot of times they go, hey, you guys, you want to come out and drink? You ever socialize with the...
Yeah.
They like that.
Yeah,
I don't drink though.
You gotta rein that in.
Right. Yes.
Sure.
We got a really early flight tomorrow.
Right.
Let's leave this image of us as these guys who are
not
on stage and professional, not the guys who are drunk with you in the.
Yeah, you don't want the client to have to carry you back to your room.
No,
that's a bad way to end.
Again. That's a bad way to end.
Yeah.
We've kind of caught up a bit. Where's the future of the passing zone going? What do you guys see that's still left? I mean, you guys have done so much. Are there still things that excite you about where you can go from here?
Yeah, it would be great to get back on the Tonight Show.
It'd be tough.
Yeah. We're working on that right now.
We were talking about the fact that these shows are so host-driven.
And so
how do you make the host look like the star?
Exactly.
So we're trying to get a piece to do with Jimmy Fallon, and in fact, even the timing that we actually just sent them a video today.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's moving forward at the moment, but who knows?
Maybe people who listen to this can call in.
Yeah.
If you want to see the passing zone on Jimmy Fallon.
Call in.
I mean, there's so many shows out now, but not a single one of them would I say seems to have any interest in booking variety.
No, not really. I mean, outside of America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And
maybe Ellen, but it's always like kind of more low. That's not the Tonight Show.
Yeah. You'd think that there would be more opportunities out there, and I think there probably are. It just takes. We've often thought it requires the right person to see you live, because it's almost like it needs to be their idea.
Yeah.
If you approach them and say, "Hey, we're a juggling act," they're right away going to go, "Nah, we're not that interested."
We don't use juggling acts.
Exactly.
But if they happen to see you and it's their job to book something on the show, they're going to go, "Oh my gosh, these guys were great!"
Right.
I know we don't usually have jugglers, but let's book them. And
you go, "Wow, yeah, that would be great."
And do you guys watch the show and kind of see what angle? I mean, do they ever do anything where you're like, "Oh, we could be part of"?
Yeah,
this.
I mean, and that's been part of like doing
research,
stupid human tricks or something on Letterman, or it is always important to try to look for where those opportunities are.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately the dream still is to get on as a comedy act instead of a stand-up or instead of a musical act or something. Be introduced, go out and do your thing, and walk off. But I don't know if that's going to happen anymore.
It'd be a big coup because
it would be.
It's. I think, like I was talking to John, you have to figure out what's in it for the host.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm saying you want to do the leapfrog. He's lying on the floor. You're jumping over him. And sure, you can make it funny, but it's basically you guys are the stars, and unless it's like he's risking his life to bring his audience's best. That's the gag. I'm gonna risk my life to show you how much I do that. Let's bring out the passing zone.
Yeah, you want it to be about what he's doing,
exactly,
and not just about what you're doing.
And you can't make him look foolish or stupid.
No.
You got to glorify, his involvement.
Yeah, like for us, we did the 2 spots. Then we got on with Leno, and this was probably the most nervous I've ever been because all we had to do was come out and pass torches around him while he's doing this gag about high definition TV.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Man, I was back because I thought they could get any jugglers to do this. If I gag this, that's so simple, I'll really feel stupid.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
This is the first time I actually felt. People say like your heart's beating out of your chest.
Yeah.
I was actually backstage thinking, this is what they talk about.
Isn't that a horrible feeling?
Oh, it was pretty hard because there's no stopping it.
And then you have to juggle.
Then you do it. You're like, you do it okay. You're like, because with torches, I'm always thinking like that first throw can kind of hang up.
Yeah.
And you get that big first throw.
Well,
but good luck on that. I wish you guys well. If I can help in any way, I don't know, advise or something, it'd be a.
Thanks. And as far as our future, I mean, we still are creating new stuff. We've got a new knife throwing piece that we've been working really hard on.
On the swinging board, and
that's
so good to see. Like I say, that's the thing I really regret is that as the Raspini brothers, we didn't keep developing.
Yeah,
because after 30 years, you have so much backstory and so much experience. You bring a lot to it.
Yeah, it's really part of the fun too. I mean, there are days where you've got deadlines, you're performing a new piece, and you're terrified about it, and you think, why are we doing this to ourselves?
Right.
But really, that's the fun. The creative part is a blast, and then finally you get to do this thing out on stage that came from nothing. It didn't exist before, and now it exists, and people are laughing at it, and that's just so satisfying and so much fun.
Well, I have to say I'm glad the passing zone exists, even though probably the Raspini brothers in our lives might have been greatly enhanced by you guys not being on the scene at all. Who knows if you guys didn't exist at all? We would have owned it all.
To the world.
It would have been all ours. It would have been us versus Team Rootberry.
You know what? The pie is big enough.
It's fun. It was great.
Yeah.
It's really, I think we've had a really nice friendship all these years, and it's been really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fun hanging out with you guys.
You guys really have inspired us. I mean, you guys are from very early on doing the kinds of things we wanted to do. You guys are funny, good jugglers. Like that's the kind of stuff we want to be doing.
And super nice people.
Right.
Yeah,
but not as nice.
No, one of you is really
as
nice.
Owen Morris.
Very.
I don't know. You just don't know him as well. Hey, well, thanks guys so much. That was really fun. I'm sure people listening will get a good big kick out of all the different levels of the passing zone story.
Well,
and thanks again for being on the Drop Everything podcast. Once again, big thanks to John Wee and Owen Morris, the Passing Zone. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
I hope you enjoyed Drop Everything podcast number 22. Recorded live at John Wee's house in Hermosa Beach. I will not give out his address for legal reasons, but it's lovely. Wonderful place. If you know John, hopefully he'll invite you, and you can sit down, have a wonderful chat like I did with John Wee and Owen Morris of the Passing Zone. We'd like to thank our sponsors. First, the International Jugglers Association. Information about the International Jugglers Association can be found at juggle.org. braindrizzles.com. That's my personal coaching and writing website. So advice for your career, your act, and so much more can be found at braindrizzles.com. Thanks to Karen Holzman, our engineer. And also exciting news, we're now on iTunes. So please stop by, subscribe, leave one of those 5-star reviews. I think it's 5 stars out of 10, so 5 stars is not so much to ask for. And of course, drop everything except when you're juggling.